Hi, Tyler Odell here with Odell Complete Concrete, and today is the final part to this series here. We're going to be coming through doing this side yard. You can see there's that concrete wall we poured out in the last video. It's curing out now, it's looking real good. And now we're just framing a little step down right here in the side yard because everything was built on different elevations. Not quite sure why, but yeah, the garage, the house. It's basically a three-tier property here, 3 different levels everything's on. So yeah, we have a little step down right here, and then we got our drains popped up. You can see 2 of them down there up in the side yard, and then we have a couple more. Here's the other driveway we're doing. In the last episode you saw us do this guy's back alley driveway. Now we're doing his front driveway. We're basically just cutting it at the city, kind of like at the asphalt basically. We didn't want to touch the apron or the gutter, so we avoided that by just cutting it right at the apron approach. So we'll go ahead and replace the apron and the whole driveway here, and then there's a big drain in the middle. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. That's kind of where everything falls to because the driveway is sloping hard into the garage. But basically what we agreed on and what we told the homeowner would be best is if we install a French drain system here. So it's I'm sorry, not a French drain, it's a channel drain. So instead of that big drain right in the middle, we'll just have a channel drain along the entire line of the garage there, so any water that runs off will indefinitely hit that channel drain. But you know, this driveway here is probably, I don't know, 50-60 years old, and it's held up pretty good. I thought there was rebar in here because it did crack, however it didn't shift in elevations, but I'm assuming that's just because it was locked in wall to wall. But it did hold up pretty good, and there was no rebar in here, so considering it all, it did pretty good. And we're just breaking it out with jackhammers, and then we're going to be loading it into our dump trailers here. Like I said before, this street is really tight, so you can't get dump trucks in here, you can't get low boys in here. All you can do really is bring in your dump trailers behind your trucks that you're towing, and that's perfect for this situation here. Once you start bringing in heavy equipment like dump trucks and low boys and all that stuff and big old tractors, that's when the neighbors start getting a little antsy, and you know, they start wanting to start calling around and calling cops and building departments and all that stuff. So it's best to try to keep a low profile in these areas. Notice how there was never a joint on that apron approach. It just kind of bended over and down into the garage area. When we come back to report this, we're going to joint it out properly. I don't think there was a single joint in this driveway, which is probably another reason why it cracked. But all things being said, it held up pretty good for how it was built. But yeah, we're going to joint it out properly, and then, you know, throw a rebar in there, fiberglass rebar that is, and do it right. this concrete's coming out in nice big chunks. We're just prying on it with the bucket of the MT100, and that's working out pretty good. We don't have a breaker attachment, unfortunately, for that unit, but we will in the future for sure. That's the next item to purchase. Now we're just compacting native soil here basically, and laying in our fiberglass rebar 2-foot on centers. As we're doing this, we're also snapping our chalk lines along the house and along the existing block wall to make sure our elevations are good and they're running towards the drains here. Pretty hard to get elevations snapped along the house side because of all the pipes and sewer lines that are coming up. You can see all the black ABS coming up connecting to the old galvanized. That's all the work we did in the previous episode. All those sewer lines below grade. Now the next step would be to do everything above grade. Here's the Makita rebar gun. Good news is Makita just came out with a new rebar gun, a lot better than this one. Their new one shoots 19 gauge wire, I believe, or maybe it was something like that. It's a lot thicker gauge wire, and it's just a one single tie. It's not a triple or twin tire. Their older rebar gun tied them pretty loose, and I tried the new one out at the World of Concrete, and it worked out really nice. So we'll be showing you guys that one whenever we get it in. Maybe we'll do a little side-by-side comparison. Here's the channel drain going in. We pulled a string line just to get a nice straight edge. And basically how we set these is we dig out like a little footing for it, I guess you could say, and then we pour our concrete underneath the channel drain here, and then we set our channel drain on top of the wet concrete, and that kind of helps lock it in so it won't move around for years to come. And then on top of that, our new concrete driveway will kind of lock it in indefinitely. A little bit of concrete here in the corner stuck that we're just breaking out with a little pry bar and pickaxe action. That's old school style, but that's what these old properties kind of call for. Now we're just doing classic bag mix concrete and wheelbarrows, and we're gonna set our channel drain here in a second. So we're putting it up along the driveway of the garage, and the main thing is that we have a little bit of slope going downhill towards the left. You don't want to set those completely level, but as long as they got just a little bit of slope on them, like 1%, that water will eventually hit that channel drain and run out. And I think this is a much better design for properties like this. He was having water issues in the past, so this will make sure that doesn't happen anymore. So we're basically level with the garage slab here on this corner, and then as you work your way towards the left of the garage, we drop it about an inch or two below the garage floor there. So we got a little bit of slope on it, and then it connects to our 3-inch drain pipe that we installed and comes out at the city curb. No sidewalks in this neighborhood, but the apron approaches kind of act as a sidewalk and an apron approach, so it's like a 2-in-1. Now we got our rebar tied up and we're ready to go. All right, good morning, everybody. We're here bright and early for the concrete pour. We did schedule our pour a little bit later today just because some of the neighbors last time were getting a little upset. So
We got our pour coming in at 8 a.m. And let me take you through the side yard and the front yard and show you exactly what we're going to be pouring out today. So, as you guys did see in the first part, here is the concrete we did pour out. And look how beautifully these trash cans are fitting now in this area without all falling over. They got a nice driveway now. And then a beautiful walkway path, plus a little retaining wall right here, kind of dividing up the two properties. As you guys seen before, this retaining wall is falling over pretty bad. But yeah, this is the whole side yard. We got all of our drains set up. We do have one step right here, just because this foundation of the home is a lot higher than this foundation. We got a couple drains right here on this side yard. And then from this point right about here, everything slopes this way and down these steps. Got 3 steps going down right here. And this will be the last of the concrete pour right here for this property. The next area we will be pouring today is all of this area. This whole driveway, and we did put a channel drain in front of the whole garage because he was getting a lot of flooding issues into his home. So that channel drain is really going to help out without all that, especially since this is a massive hill coming down. A lot of the water rushes down into his driveway and just floods his garage every time. So this is going to help a lot. There's the cameraman.
This time we were able to plastic wrap everything. The last pour I had to leave because I was on another pour that day, but this time I was here and we were able to plastic wrap everything up and get it done right. Minimize the cleanup, minimize the labor. It works out better like that. So we're gonna be coming down the side yard here, rounding this out. And then, yeah, just a lot of spread out work here. It's funny because since I've done this job, I've actually done a couple more concrete jobs for some of the neighbors down here. It seems like this whole street or this whole neighborhood needs work. I mean, you can see where that white Tesla's sitting. It's just a gravel driveway. A lot of these people definitely could use some concrete work or some hardscape work. So really, I could probably be working down this street for a while. So as we're pumping this back, routing it back, we got the 4-foot wooden bowl float out on it, making sure she's nice and flat. And then I'm just coming through with a 3-foot level, 4-foot level, double checking all the elevations, making sure the rod guys are getting it on the money. These side yards are real tricky to pour out because, I mean, it's so tight and there's not a lot of space to move. So you gotta designate a couple guys to, do their roles, and that's it really. When there's too many guys in there, it becomes kind of like a cluster, and it's no good and unproductive. So I just try to kind of stay out of the way and stay on the levels, making sure everything's getting poured out at the proper elevations. And if something's wrong, I'll just fix it right then and there. But my crew did a real good job on this pour. Everything came out perfect. No complaints here. That's a new rod tool that Enrique just picked up off the TikTok shop. I don't know if you guys ever done any shopping on TikTok, but a couple of my guys like to get a bunch of their tools from there. They get pretty sweet deals, and this one in particular was real nice. A little rod board with a little level bubble on top of it, and these finishers liked it a lot. However, the way we rod it out here in California is a little different than how some people rod it, like the Australians and stuff like that. I noticed they'll usually just have one man on the rod board, and that's what that top pole is for. So they're just holding on to that top pole on the rod board and coming back with it. But I don't know why, but out here we have one guy on each side, and we pull it back like that. Really don't know why. If you guys know why, I mean, I guess it's just preference, but or how we learned. But yeah, we just never have one guy on the rod. I think it takes a little longer. It might take a little more time to do it that way, unless it's a little small section, like a little 3-foot walkway. Yeah, that's a one-man job all day. But when it's like 8 feet or more, it's like a 2-guy job for sure. Let me know what you guys think about that. Oh, well, here they are with a little 3-footer with 2 guys on it. Like, this could have been done with 1 guy easily, but they work pretty good in unison, so they like to hop on it together. I think that's the dad and son duo right there. Now we got a couple more steps coming down to the side of the property. Like I said, everything's on different elevations, so we kind of just got to get creative with it to match what's going on around the property here. But the forms here held up really good, and we didn't have any problems with that, so that was good. Not like the last video, at least. A lot of you guys were saying it was the kickers, and it probably was. I think it had a little bit to do with the kickers for sure. A little bit of everything, but no problems on here. This one went real smooth and worked out like a charm. You can see to the left side, we also poured out a little curb there too. A lot of creativity going on here, but we had to cover up this big hole underneath the house with some concrete, so that's the only reason that curb is there. Otherwise, they'd have like this really weird hole underneath the house that, you know, anything could get into. It wasn't a good look, so we came up with just a little curb solution for that. Alrighty, so now we're on the driveway. This is about the last of the pour. There's only 2 trucks on this pour. It was like 20 yards on the dot, I think. So that worked out real good. And the truck drivers had some real issues getting up here. I remember they could barely get up this hill and squeeze by the truck. It's kind of a nightmare situation, but they were able to get up here. And they were scared that they were going to start spilling out of the back of the truck and everything. I mean, it was a real nightmare, but they got up and we got to pumping, and yeah, here it is. So we duct taped our channel drain too, just so no concrete or mud gets in there. And we're just pouring this baby out. Same elevations it was at previously. Everything basically stayed the same, except how we're going to join it, how we put the rebar in it, and the drain system, obviously. We also have a screed pin right there. You can see it to the right hand side of your screen. We just needed to maintain elevations of the existing sidewalks, so we went ahead and threw that in there. Here are the wings right here on it. Here's the walking edger. We use a 1/2 inch radius by 12 inches, 12 inches wide. We're running this edger along the wall we poured in the past episode, and that's just to make sure it doesn't crack there, because it will crack there indefinitely if you don't edge it. We got our joints in at every major cracking point and along all of the drains. You can already see it's starting to come together a lot better than what it was when we first came here. Threw a little ladder across just to get over there without having to walk all the way around to the back alley. A little access trick right there. But yeah, we're already on our sliders. This was 3,000 psi concrete here. We poured it at 4 inches thick, and it went off pretty good, pretty fast. I think we poured at 8 a.m. this day. We were out of there by 11:30, so it went off pretty quick. Now we're running the Fresno on the concrete here, sealing her up. Then we're gonna go ahead and cut our joints in it. So I'm running a 8-foot cutter here. We snapped the lines already, and we're just running this cutter down the driveway. Like I said before, you can't really cut these crooked when you're cutting them with an 8-foot cutter. It'd be real tough to cut them crooked. Then we're also cutting it 3 feet away from the gutter, and this is the break-off point between the driveway and the apron. So it all starts going downhill after that point. So that's a major crack spot too. Definitely have to put a joint in there. That's exactly where it cracked before we broke out the old concrete. That's where it had a big old crack in it. So we know it's gonna try to crack there again. This little drill here too came out of the TikTok shop, and it looks like a Makita, but it isn't. Some Chinese brand, but thing has some power for sure. He's been getting some good deals on that TikTok, I'll tell you what. Here's old Enrique getting down on the sliders now. He got these sliders from TikTok shop, you wouldn't believe it. His feet don't fit in them though. You could see he's a little too short for those ones. Those are for the big dogs. But he's getting it down, laying it down real nice. The big old trowel. It's looking good. Almost ready for the broom. We might hit it with the 50% horsehair, 50% nylon concrete broom. Timmy's hitting that edge, he's cleaning it up real nice. We got our main man, we call him Shrimp. This guy right here, he's laying down the steps. Timmy's coming behind him, hitting that curb, while also passing this little side yard here, or porch area. But the steps are starting to take shape and they're looking real good. And we got another two guys over here on this driveway, laying it down, knocking it out. This is your standard joint pattern for an apron approach. You break them on the wings and then a couple in the middle. This little step here is just a continuation from a much bigger staircase. We had to add on to match the elevations of everything else up here and to get it nice and level with the existing retaining wall that's kind of bellied out in the middle. Now here we are brooming this baby out. We actually went with the 100% nylon concrete broom on this one. The only real way to broom this was the way we're doing it here. If we try to broom it the other way, it'd be almost impossible because we were locked in on both sides. This stuff was getting real hard, so I had to broom it pretty vigorously to get a texture on it. But after a couple passes with the broom, I was able to get a nice texture on it, and then it worked out good. So I'm brooming this, coming back, and then I'm going to trowel the rest of this slab out up top, and then go ahead and broom that, and then work my way down the steps. You can see how hard this stuff was getting on me right here. Definitely had to use a little bit more elbow grease in this situation. I was even two-handing this baby. That's how hard she was. Trying to pull up that cream. This is a little 4-inch step, but later on we're going to replace that entire staircase and make it all work out. This little porch area broomed out beautifully. It's kind of the texture we always aim for right there. Not too rough, but not too light. Looks like on this driveway we hit it with the world famous 50% horsehair, 50% nylon concrete broom, and this one's brooming out just as nice.
Alright guys, we just got done pouring out the job. Everything's all broomed. It's looking really nice. We got a nice light to heavy, nice light to medium broom finish on this, just because it is kind of a steep hill right here as you're walking down into the garage. And then we do have the channel drain as well, all set up. So that's to capture any water that tries shooting down this driveway into the garage. We got this walkway all done right here. As you can see, we do have a curb right here because the foundation was exposed right here. So we put a little curb in to kind of acts as a little bit of a security for the foundation, kind of reinforces it and stops anything from getting up in there as well. Then we have a couple steps, 3 steps coming up right here. As we go up, we work our way to the side yard where we have all of our drains placed and now a nice usable space as well. Before you guys saw this, it was a mess up here. Nothing was draining properly. It was starting to make this wall really bulge and fall over. Once we came in here, cleaned it up, extended this wall over, and got this place tip-top shape now.
It was also nice of this homeowner because he has another property out in Hawaii on the island of Kauai, and he let us trade some work here for a stay at his property. Basically what the trade was is we would build out a nice little fence here for him, a gate, some hand railing, and in return he'd let us stay at his property for a week in Hawaii. And we're going to be heading out here with the whole family. We're taking my dad, my brother, and my mom, everybody, the whole gang's coming out there, and we're going to have a good time out there. So that was real nice of him to do that, and worked out real good for us too. So overall, it was a tricky job. We had to get creative with it. A lot of different situations had occurred and arose on this job, and you know, the more stuff you take a look at, it's like opening up a can of worms here. You could just keep working on this property. And I hope you guys enjoyed this renovation little remodel series we did here for you. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys are thinking, and we'll be seeing you guys on the next project. Thank you very much. Have a good day.